Hey everyone, this is Wade from fishfindermounts.com, and I'm just going to do I think I'm going to do a series of put it together videos for our products. I'm going to start out with, this video is going to be the 15mm magnetic transducer mount. It's the same for the X Power, and actually aspects of it, like the final linkage point, the actual the point where the transducer goes onto the mount, it's all the same for all of our stuff. There's no difference. We don't have any other way of doing it. This is the way we do it on all of our mounts for the transducer. So this is how it's going to come in this nice little box here, all compact, and you're going to have various parts. These spacer kit here, it's got a longer stainless steel screw. They call these hex trim screws, these ones here. And there's various spacers in there, bushings you could call them too. They're made of nylon, but these were used typically for your Garmin style. I'm just going to take this. These are pull mounts that we've just come out with recently, and that's what these big things are. But here, if the camera focuses in here closely on this is the spacer set here, right here. And again, here's the exact same mechanism, even on our pole mount. That is used the way we do it. It's a clamping style mount that we do it on our transducer mount, or like our magnetic transducer mount, like you see here. So I just want to show you that this could be used for other purposes. Like, let's say down the road somebody comes out with another dual point mounting approach like this. You could always cut these or do whatever you need to do, piece them together. There's 4 different spacers there, and we may not keep this all the time. We noticed that all the manufacturers no longer are using this approach. This year in 2018, Garmin has gone to a single post approach, which is good for us for sure. But we're still including these for now, so if you need some kind of spacer or bushing for some reason, you'll have it. And then there's the longer screw. We'll probably always include that just to be safe, to make, and our goal is to make our stuff universal, right? So that people, whatever the fish finder transducer is, you can use it. So you get this guy here. I pulled everything out. This is a sliding aperture mechanism. You can see there's actually quite a bit of travel left here that you could go, and then that will be effectively useful if you install this much larger screw. And so I've had people have problems trying to understand how to take the screws out. They are a bit difficult, and that was in intention. Like, if you want to add, and the reason why I'm saying this is, if you want to add an extension arm, you're going to want to pop this long screw here out, and you're going to want to move this screw that's here back to here, and then you'll take the long screw that you took out right here, and you'll pop it right here. So, and then you'll move this piece, which we call our fork washer, you'll move that down here. You can see it has the same exact identical grooves. I'll just pop it on here so you can see. So now you have effectively the same thing that you see here, this root arm, but it's just long. You just kind of moved it down on this extension arm. It's like Lego. It just gets put together. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So the way I like to take these things apart, if the camera just shifts down to the ground, I usually do this on concrete, but I'm going to do this on my floor right now, so for expedience sake, I put the end of the screw against the floor. I do this with the short ones too, and you can see the screw head here, and I just firmly push. Sorry, just one sec. And that pops it out nicely. That's it. It's out. So yeah, it's in there really firmly. It almost seems like it shouldn't come out because it's so firm. But as I've just shown you, you can take it out like that. That's the best way I've found to move things around. It seems a bit radical, but this plastic is so strong, it's not going to be damaged here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy now, do the same thing. Let me show on the camera again how that's done. Right here. Here's a little guy. I noticed this one's not as implanted as heavy duty there, but there. If the camera can come right down, I wanted to see right in here. There, we popped it out. There you go. So over here, take this guy, and you can see the camera comes really close. You see how this all fits together. You see the tongue and groove system here, right? And the screw slides over there. Of course, we've taken this long screw out. I pushed it out. We're gonna make that change where we move the little screw, the shorter screw, into that root arm. The root arm, you'll notice, has this form factor. It has the 4 big screw holes at the top, whereas the extension arms are like more of like a lightning bolt form factor. So you can see the difference. The same on one end, but different on the other. So we've got that guy right there. You're going to want to suck that in with do we want to? Yeah, we want to do it this way. So we've got it together. Here, right here. Again, you can see the little cutout, the little tongue and groove system. Slide the screw through. There's not much sticking up, but your little wing nut here is going to suck that guy right through nicely. So it's on there. It's got a full amount of thread there all the way through. Now that's what it looks like. Then we're going to take our transducer, and what we'll do is we'll do it with both of these transducers. I'm just going to move this guy out of the way just for now. We're going to take our Hummingbird. I don't have any other transducers than these ones I had on these mounts, so I'm just going to use these guys. So we'll take them off here, and you're going to see how it works. This is the same exact thing. It's just we've done it in aluminum for the root arm. That's as simple as it gets. It's more of a clamping mechanism than anything. We're going to take our 1/4 T-knob, black T-knob, thumb nut, wing nut. It's not really a wing nut the way it's, some people call it knurled knobs. That's what it is. And if you're on a transom, you're going to want this guy, the cutout of this, to be like you see here. If you want it to on the side of a boat, then you're going to want to have it either like this or this. You're going to want to have the face of this up, the cutout up, as an example. And I'll show you that at the end here. So we'll just put this together as though we're going to be on a transom here. And we'll just take our black T-knob here and screw it back on. Everything that we've done is meant to be hand tightenable. And the reason why we've done it that way, let's just flip it around so my right hand can do the job here for us. There's 4 holes, so you can flip it all the way, all sorts of ways around. You know, even if you put it on wrong, you could always just flip this arm around instead of taking the whole mount off, as an example. So we've got this guy on, and we're going to take the longer screw. This one popped out of here, so don't get it confused. Just have the one long screw. We're going to take the longer screw, which is plenty long enough for this Hummingbird Helix 5 transducer right here. This is the DI version, so it's the same form factor for the current new transducers, or the new Helix N2s and everything. So if you take this guy, we're just going to take if the camera comes close now and over top now, up and over top. Yeah, flip the screen, there you go. We're just going to take this guy, and you see the grooves, you see the convex and the concave grooves, right? See how they match together? We're going to take this guy and just get it on there, and it just slides on nicely over top, just like so. Take our wing nut and complete the job there. And there you have our 15 mm, that's millimeter, 15 millimeter magnetic transducer mount, all assembled together. And then to take this guy apart, the magnet, you twist it. That's the best way to do it. And then you can get your hand, I like to do it this way, I get my hand in like this, and then pry it. and then it can come apart fairly easily versus if you cannot just pull it off. And then of course that's what it looks like there. So one of these would go on the inside of your hull and the other on the outside. Usually any boat that's 10 to 16 feet, 18 feet long, like your fabricated aluminum boats, your John boats, your V-hulls, the transom, the thick part of the transom, that's the part that's thick for your motor, to hold your motor, will go from the top, the brim of the boat, and it will go down only so far, and then it'll go back to the rest of the, like the regular wall thickness of the rest of the boat. So then you'll have a gap between the thickness of the transom and then where it descends to the floor, you'll have a gap of 3 to 5 inches, maybe more. On smaller ones, you know, your 8 to 10 foot boats, really more 10 foot boats. You don't see too many aluminum boats that are made in the 8 foot variety, but there are some little skiffs and stuff like Spratlys and stuff that are. Anyways, that's the assembly of the magnetic transducer mount. Now I'm going to show you, just to finish this off, please keep your fingers away from the face of these magnets. They're extraordinarily powerful and they will give you a very nasty pinch. Always have your fingers around the perimeter of the magnetic transducer portion of it, the magnetic portion. We're going to do this other guy as an example. I'm going to take this Humminbird Helix 5 transducer off. Here's our pole mount. Let's just do it on here too quickly. We'll take the components. Again, you can see it's the exact same components. This is just a metal root arm that's in here. You can add, by the way, on our pull arm, I'm just going to show you guys that too. You can actually add the extension arms onto this as well. Just so you guys know, they can be added. You can keep adding them to make this longer. This pole here is 32 inches long already, but this adds 2.5 inches, so now it's 34.5, and then it would be 2.5 more and 2.5 more. Let's put our transducer back on. What is going on? There we go. So we'll take our screw, just goes through like so. Of course there are instructions, written instructions, drawing instructions in the package. So if you want to double check on things, or pause the video, right, and just kind of keep it where it's at. But here we go. Just going to finish up putting this guy back together. I hope the camera's in close enough on this guy. That's it. That's it. It's done. It's together. Nice and strong on there. You just crank that down nice and hard and you're done. So we'll just move the Helix 5 DI, or Helix 7, sorry, this is the Helix 7 DI, by the way. Down imaging, that stands for. And this is the older generation. There's a newer generation, but it's the same thing. It's just, it's got chirp frequency in it and stuff like that, the newer generation, but the mechanical aspects of it and form factors of it are the same. So here we go here, just quickly, here is the Garmin Striker 7 SV. So this is the side view, this is really a side imaging product. And we just take this guy apart. You can see if the camera comes close here, you can see the holes are loose. They're not like perfectly on there or anything like that, and that's fine, because the clamping aspect of this thing is what keeps everything solid and still, if you will. It keeps it from moving around. It's because it's clamped. That's the key here. We've made these mounts to be universal, so anyone can use them. I think I maybe mentioned this at the beginning of the video. We made them to be universal. So you're not always going to have the exact perfect fit on a screw or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's more the clamping part of it that matters. So there, we've taken that guy apart. Let's put it back together so we don't get confused like last time a little bit, or I don't get confused anyways. Slide that guy back on. That's what it looks like with those spacers. I was talking about that at the beginning. You can mix and match your spacers on there. There's the longer screw on there. It's very long, and you can see the travel of this thing is used up nicer, or more fully, I should say. You can see it can move, you know, and then the screw, there's still screw left here. Now we're going to do this guy on this magnetic transducer mount for redundant. It's redundant because we've already done it, but we'll put this guy together, put that guy on there. That's your extension arm. You don't need to use the extension arm necessarily, it depends on your application. We'll just twist this guy, So how do we do this guy? Well, we take our little packet here, and we're going to put the longer screw in, right? Now I've pressed this out once or twice with my feet already. I'll probably need to do it again, it looks like. So let's do that again here on the floor. We're going to take our screw, just put it against the floor. I'd advise on concrete and stuff. There, it popped out easier this time because I've done it a couple times now. And we just take this guy here. And like I was showing you with my foot there, it doesn't need to be, you don't stomp on it, you just need to push firmly, stronger and stronger down until it pops out, and then that's it. Just stop at that point, of course. So we're going to take this guy, I guess, as I just want to fit him in there right away. So the holes line up. You can see the holes lining up there of the Milan spacers. And then just take this guy and just fit it over top. Maybe you want a shorter one closer in here, whatever. As long as you get it on there, that's the main thing. And then we take our fork washer here. Again, it's over the slots. These things made together. And there we go. We've got the Garmin Striker 7 SV transducer on there. They look a little they're bigger and different now. But it's again, and they're not a wide mounting point. They've removed on the new series. This is 2018. We're in March 2018, the end of March here, guys. Garmin, I noticed, is no longer using these metal brackets that they affix right directly to the top of the transducer. Instead, they've got a plastic one. It's got a single mounting pole. It doesn't have the two holes in it, just one single one. If that makes any sense. You could just Google, Garmin Striker 7 or like Garmin Striker 7 transducers, and you'll probably see some pictures if you hit images, so you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, all we're left now is we're left with this, right? You might want to keep this because if you want to change, again, you saw me do the Hummingbird one. If you want to change back to a different transducer from a different manufacturer, you probably want to keep everything together, because this is going to allow you, it's completely universal, it's going to allow you to change your transducer from from one manufacturer to the other. So again, here is the magnetic transducer mount, twisting it, I leverage it off, and then I need to mount the transducer to my hand, just because it's kind of fun. From fishfindermounts.com, you can see it's that powerful of a magnet. It's quite a thick hand I have here, thick fingers, but your aluminum boat, obviously the aluminum will be quite thin, quite narrow, a couple credit cards at most thick on most of those prefab boats there. And right now, if that was the case, it was on that much of a very thin material, you can tell just how powerful it's going to be, because the magnets are that much more closer, and being that much closer, they're pulling that much harder against each other, just so strong. And it's almost like having a permanent mount, yet it's still not being permanent for a lot of boats. If your boat is, let's say, anywhere between 14 and 16 feet, and you got a 20-25 horsepower motor, or 30, even a 30 horsepower motor on there, you should be able to go full blast with this on, and with a regular size transducer on there. Like the Hummingbird series is great because they're smaller transducers, and you can just blast with those. You start to get a little larger. This is a larger transducer. This one would still be okay too, but there are some big ones out there now, 10 inches long and stuff. You won't be able to go as fast. This is designed to be a non-permanent mount, and it has its limits. But the point, you still will be able to use it very effectively if you're trolling around, even at higher speeds. But don't expect to necessarily get up on plane with some of those really big guys and blast around everywhere. You might have to, like you can just kick this guy up out of the water when it's on the back of your transom of your boat, or of course even on the side. Just pop that in if you want, and then it's up out of the water. You can just take it off your boat, whatever. There's so many ways with our products. You can see there's just so many moving joints and points where you can take it apart and reassemble it, and obviously the consideration for the wider mounting points and everything of different transducers is really sky is the limit with this thing. So this is the 15 millimeter magnetic transducer mount. We even have a more powerful one. It's the same exact thing. It just has more powerful magnets in it, about 20% stronger. And that will give you that. We always recommend that one when you have a larger transducer. When we're talking, you know, even new Garmin transducers are quite large. When you're getting into the side, definitely side imaging and or side view as they call it, and the down view position as well. That those are going to be larger. They're even a bit, I don't know, maybe a bit larger than these ones here now. And then Lowrance is making some ridiculously huge transducers. I'm sure they're quite powerful, but they're not always nice to deal with mechanically, ergonomically. But we found a way to make it happen. It's not specific to that transducer. Again, it's universal, has its limits to some extent, but if you're looking for something that's super flexible, allows you to put your fish finder on your transducer on your boats without drilling holes, this is it. You got to admit, suction cups I think are really a thing of the past. This thing here blows those out of the water. The suction cups you're gonna have to replace every 3 or 4 years at least, maybe even way sooner depending on how you care for them. This thing here will last over your lifetime. So this is Wade from fishfindermounts.com showing you how to put together our magnetic transducer mounts, and it's the same for the strap-on transducer mounts. It's the same for our pole mounts. This is really how you put that final end, like you get your transducer onto our mounts, and all of the transducers from all the different manufacturers, the major manufacturers, unless it's an ice fishing transducer that's just a puck, as long as they have a transom style bracket that's included in the package for their transducer, and that's 90% of all the transducers out there in the market, which is, I'm sure, maybe more, it's going to work with our product. So, if it uses a screw-on type of a screw, like a hole system, there is, like Airmar has the P33 or P66, I'm not sure, a few different transducers where they use sort of like a clipping style one. There has been customers we've had that have retrofitted those to work. They've found ways to make them work. So, in certain circumstances, there are the very outliers, the very more obscure, less well-known stuff out there that will be a bit more difficult to use with their stuff, or it's not. Ours is just not designed to be used with it. Like the ice transducers, where it's just a puck or a teardrop shape. There's no mounting point on them. In that case, yeah, you're not using our stuff, but that's not our kettle of fish, if you will. No pun intended for the fishing market. So yeah, again, sorry guys to draw this out a little longer than I should have, but this is Wade from fishfindermounts.com. Call us at 1-855-784-3474, and we'd be glad to help you with your fish finder mounting needs today. Thanks for watching.